Turnover Tales, 2-in-1 book. This on the side has Disney Lady and the Tramp. And on the other side, if you turn it around, I guess that's why they call it Turnover Tales, 2-in-1 book, is Disney 101 Dalmatians. I don't know what's got the boys all upset, but apparently something has. I apologize. I'll check it out in a little bit, but I want to get these two books in. This is copyrighted in 2014. And it says, Disney 101 Dalmatian. Read the story, then turn over the book to read the other story. Roger Radcliffe was a musician. He lived in a little house in London with Pongo, his pet Dalmatian. One day, Roger got married. His lovely new wife was named Anita, and she had a lady Dalmatian named Perita. Soon Perita was expecting her first litter of puppies. Life seemed perfect until one day an old friend of Anita's, Cruella de Vil, came to visit. "Where are those puppies?" Cruella demanded. "They're not expected for another 3 weeks," Anita replied. "You must let me know when they arrive. I just adore Dalmatian puppies. Their coats are so beautiful." And with that, Cruella slipped out of the house in a fury. 3 weeks later, Peretta and Pongo became proud parents of 15 puppies. Roger, Anita, and Nanny, the housekeeper, were delighted. But the very next day, Cruella returned. 15 puppies, she cried excitedly. "I'll buy all of them." "Oh, no, you won't," said Roger. "They're not for sale." "You fools, you'll be sorry," Cruella cried, storming out of the house. One night soon after, while Roger and Anita were out for their evening walk, 2 men came to the door. "We're here to inspect the wiring and switches," said the tall one. "Electric company," said the short one. You're not coming in here," Nanny told them, guessing that they were up to no good, and she was right, because they were the men that Cruella's henchmen, Horace and Jasper Badoon. Horace and Jasper pushed past the nanny. She tried her best to stop them, but she was locked in her room upstairs. By the time the nanny escaped, the men were gone, and so were the puppies. The police immediately launched an investigation, but the puppies were not found. In the end, Pongo said to Perita, "We'll have to find the puppies ourselves." Pongo decided to go try the twilight bark. This was the quickest way for the dogs to send and receive news across the county. That evening, when the 2 Dalmatians were taking for their walk, Pongo barked at the alert, 3 loud barks and a howl from the top of the Primrose Hill. After a moment, an answering bark was heard. "It's the Great Dane of Hampstead," Pongo said Perita, and he barked out his message. Before too long, the twilight bark reached an old sheepdog named the Colonel, who lived on a farm in the countryside. Colonel's friends, a horse named Captain and a cat named Sergeant Tibbs, listened too. They were all shocked to hear that the 15 puppies had been stolen. "That's funny," Tibbs said. "I heard that puppies barking over at the old DeVille house last night." "But no one lives there now," said Colonel. "We must go see what's going on." So Colonel and Tibbs went quietly to the old DeVille house, peered through the broken window. Inside the house was Battis, relaxing in front of the TV, and all around the room were the puppies. Not 15, but 99 of them. Colonel quickly returned to Captain's stable and loudly barked the good news. Within no time at all, the twilight bark sent the message all the way back to Perita and Pongo. The 2 Dalmatians set off across the country, the snowy countryside, as fast as they could to rescue their puppies. Meanwhile, Cruella was checking up on Horace and Jasper. "I want the job done tonight," she shouted. Then the trio discussed her plan to use the puppies to make fur coats. Sergeant Tibbs was hidden away listening, and he could hardly believe his ears. He knew there wasn't a moment to lose. He had to save those puppies. Once Cruella had left, Horace and Jasper went back to watching their television show. Tibbs took the moment to help the puppies sneak away. "Faster," he hissed. All 99 puppies made it out of the room. Then Tibbs led his very Then Tibbs led them very quickly down the stairs. He could hear the two men following them. Leaving the Baddens in a heap on the floor, Parita and Pongo found their puppies a safe distance away at the Colonel's barn. Everybody heard. All 15, Pongo asked. You're 15 and a few more, replied Captain. There are 99. Parita and Pongo didn't want to leave any puppies for Cruella to find. We'll just have to take them all back to London with us, said Parita. I'm sure Roger and Anita will look after them. Parita, Pongo, and the puppies set off back to London, leaving a trail of paw prints in the snow. But as they were crossing on icy roads, Pongo heard the honking of a car horn. Hurry, kids. Sure enough, it was Cruella de Vil. She was following closely behind them. The Dalmatians ran and faster and made it a village where friendly Labrador was waiting. The Labrador had arranged a ride home for the Dalmatians in the back of a van, but Cruella and the Baddens were waiting outside. How would they sneak past? Luckily, Pongo stumbled upon the perfect solution. Come on, kids, roll in this suit, Pongo said, and they're all going to look like Labradors. Safe. What is that? Okay, whoops, sorry. And that is how the Dalmatians snuck right past the Cruella and the Baddens. The van was only a short distance away, but at last the puppies hurried into the van. A clump of snow fell on one of them. Cruella was now watching closely. She watched the clean puppy. There they go, she shouted as the van pulled away. Cruella raced after the van and tried her best to force it off the road. Hey, lady, what in the thunder are you trying to do? The driver shouted, but he managed to stay on track. Cruella was not so fortunate. She ended up in a ditch along with the Baddens. Safe at last and back home in London, Roger wiped Pongo's face. Pongo, boy, is that you? He said. And Purdy? Said Anita. Oh, my darling. Nancy quickly brushed the suit from the puppies. They're all here, the little dears, she exclaimed. And look, there's a whole lot more. 101, said Anita. What will we do with them? We'll buy a big place in the country, said Roger. We'll have a Dalmatian plantation. And that is exactly what they did. The end. Beautiful little book. Okay, we've got to read the other side so it can go to the candy kitchen.